Hello, my painting companions. We are going to take a look at doing a little bit of restoration work here on my brand new Noah's Ark painting, because on my way transporting it back from St. Louis, I had a bit of a mishap. There was a bucket, and the bucket was filled with a finishing trowel, a mash hammer, which is a miniature sledgehammer, and I thought I had the bucket chocked well, but evidently I didn't, and it dumped over, and the finishing trowel skidded across the painting and made a bit of a scratch in here. And also I ended up with an indentation here from the mash hammer which landed on it. Thank God there was no tears through the canvas. That's a good thing. But I'm going to have to try to get rid of the indentation. As far as a scratch, well, that's just painting. And the good thing about restoring your own painting, it's your painting. So you're going to be restoring it with your brush strokes. But there is a dent in the canvas, and a little bit of a dent, and I'm going to show it to you on the back. The little bit of the dent is from the mash hammer, and I have a theory about how to repair this. But first, let me say that my first instincts were just leave it alone. Let it be, let it sit, and it will start to draw back into shape. The tension of the threads stretched across these stretchers will draw back, and that, my instincts were correct. That did start to happen. So as a few days passed, the declivity lessened and some of the dent was gone. But I still need to restore it the rest of the way. And in order to do that, I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick that I've learned, and it has to do with ice and cold weather. With ice, and it's an ice bag that you can buy like at a pharmacy or some such store, and I filled it with ice. What we're going to do is I'm going to put this on here, and I have to keep checking it to make sure there's no condensation, because I don't want water running into the back of this. But I have learned through experience that if you have a canvas that has gotten dented, or there's a declivity that was caused by a mishap, if you put it out in the cold, it's not cold enough today, but I have put it out in my shed in the bitter cold, and it stretches back into shape. Yes, it does. Well, it's not cold enough for that to happen now, and I don't want to paint with this declivity here. So I'm going to apply the ice. Now, obviously, I'm not going to stand here with this, so I'm going to go set it across some benches, and then I will set the ice on it. But I just want to tell you what I'm doing with it, so you will have an idea. So I plumb forgot that my little easel here converts into a flat table, and all I had to do was flip it and tighten it up. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the ice on it right here as it's on the flat table, and I think that will do the trick. By flipping it this way, I'll be able to put the ice on it and hopefully cause those threads to draw back in. Fortunately, where I set the bag of ice is right where the rail is. So that's going to give it a little support so I don't end up creating a worse declivity than the one that the hammer created. The idea with the ice is to cause it to contract, not to create a worse problem. So I'm going to keep checking this, because we don't want condensation to cause any problems. But I will tell you, this is kind of a cool, crisp, fallish day, so I don't think we're going to have that problem. Now, I will tell you that the other option is to flip this over and to apply the cold right on the surface. The advantage to that, of course, is that having oil paint on the other side would give it some protection against any possible condensation. The other thing I can do is undo the staples on the bottom and re-stretch the bottom, but I think that would be a last ditch effort for me, because not all of the surface is indented, just one portion of it. So I think that would be the absolute last ditch effort, is to restretch some of this. Now, I will tell you this. There's an artist, and I forget who it was, but he restretched one of Van Gogh's sunflowers. And he ended up having to paint a little bit inside of all of the openings that were made because of restretching it. I have no idea how difficult that was or how successful it was, but it did happen. I think all of Van Gogh's sunflowers, except for one that was destroyed in either the bombing of Nagasaki or Hiroshima, they presume it was destroyed. I don't think it was ever found. So all of his sunflowers, I think, have been found except for that one. Okay, what I have done is I have tilted this a little bit because I've moved the ice to the face of the painting with the philosophy that the painting is protected by layers of oil-based paint that I don't believe I'm going to have any condensation, but in the event I do, this should help. After having let the ice sit on the back fiber side for a little bit, the declivity seems to have lessened a little bit, but not to the extent I would have liked. So now we're going to put this on the front of the surface. And again, I have some incline to this, as much as I can have without the ice falling off, so that I think my physics is correct. Gravitationally, there is less force on the canvas because of the angle. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Be my guess, but I think I'm correct about that. What else? Oh yes, so I did do a little research while I was waiting, and I found out that the sunflowers, the 12 sunflowers that were destroyed, were not in Hiroshima or Nagasaki, but they were in Japan during World War II, and it was in a bombing fire that happened at the Oshira Osaka location, which I think is two cities, a city and a suburb that are near each other. And so it was destroyed in a fire in Japan during World War II as a result of Allied bombings. Also, the sunflowers that were stretched and retouched by another artist is the Munich, is the one that's in Munich, in the Munich Museum. And the artist was the son of the doctor who was treating Vincent van Gogh, treating him, I believe, at the time of his death. And so the artist noticed that the canvas had become slack on its stretchers, so he restretched it. After restretching it, he noticed that there was some fibers exposed, and he touched them up. And they're barely noticeable. It provided, his belief was it would provide more continuity to the canvas, and it does, but under certain microscopic analysis, it is noticeable. Okay, I've done something a little bit different now. What I've done is I have placed a board underneath here, and it's a piece of OSB board, but so that we don't get any of the impressions of the grain of the OSB, I've covered it with parchment paper, which should be sufficient. And I'm going to show this to you so you can see it. Okay, so we have the OSB board covered with parchment paper, just gently against the back of that canvas. I don't know if you can, oh, there it is, I'm sorry. So we have the OSB board with some parchment paper, and the Meaden easel is at about a 412, 512 pitch. So I reckon that's about, I don't know, looks like it's a little more than a 30-degree angle. Yeah, I think we got a 30, 60, 90 triangle in there, so I'm going to say it's about a 30-degree angle. Okay. So, what we have here is, it's hard to see where the declivity is now because I have the board flat against it, but I know where it is, and I'm going to set the ice on there, and the board will prevent it from pressing in on the canvas as was happening earlier. So now we're going to leave the ice on there for a little bit, and I can't put it on the front side of the canvas as I had tried to do because I don't really have a good way of putting a solid board in here so it doesn't press in on the canvas from the other side because of the thickness of the stretchers. Okay, I can hear what you're thinking. You're thinking, isn't that board that does not go completely across the back of the painting, isn't that going to create a bit of a line or an indentation in the painting? And the answer is, yes, you are right, that could happen. So we're not going to leave it on there for much longer. But I will tell you, the good news is that the declivity is not even noticeable anymore after having put the ice bag on it. And if it was still there, it would be rumpled. You know, there would be it would be puckering out, and it's not. There is a very tiny, tiny discoloration that I am hoping is just because the canvas is cold there. There's absolutely no moisture or wetness on the bottom of this bag, so it shouldn't be from that. So we will see. I hope that I didn't make things worse. I'll keep you posted. I don't believe I did, but I'll let you know. Now, I have a bit of another issue that has developed on the back of my canvas, and that is that I have some spots. It is either some spots of mineral spirits or paint that just got sprayed on it accidentally, spattered on it accidentally, or it could have come through, but I can't imagine how it could have come through the canvas since I covered it with 2 coats of rabbit skin glue, and then I began to paint on the canvas. And we discussed that, painting on the rabbit skin glue without gesso as opposed to using gesso. I don't think that's the problem. The other possibility is that this is mold. I'm also hoping that that's not the problem. So none of the options are really good ones, but I will have to investigate what to do in the event that it is mineral spirits, paint, or mold. Okay, we are now going to flip the canvas up gently, and in doing so, whoop, hope that it doesn't flip down, and it is. Kind of doing what I didn't want it to do. There's always the unexpected outcome. Okay. And we are going to turn this around like a battleship, so turning it around is quite a process. Well, no, it's not a battleship, it's an arc. Okay, and we will take this piece of OSB board out of there and set it aside. This is probably not the smartest thing to do with my shoulder, with that which I injured this weekend doing a little bit too much masonry work, but maybe a little bit of exercise is good. Okay, we are back in place. I don't see the declivity. I know where it was, but it really is not showing up. What we have tried worked. The ice on it did removed the declivity and did cause the fibers to tighten up, but not as much as I want. We want to do it more, but I want to put a full piece of OSB board, as I can hear you thinking and recommending to me. So that's what we're going to do, and then we will do the ice again. And I think with the results we have already received, it will be very promising and hopefully successful. The ice bag application and time were successful. We applied that yesterday. The declivity is gone. There's no longer a crater in my painting, and I can resume painting Noah's Ark, and we will be painting hippopotami. The hippopotami didn't swim for 40 days and 40 nights. They were on the